Richard Weaver, and I had the amazing privilege and opportunity to work and live with one of America's favorite Golden Girls, Estelle Getty. You also know her as Sophia Petrillo, and it was probably one of the most incredible 15 years of my life, and something that I'm always going to remember. So I met Estelle Getty 100 million years ago in Las Vegas. I was actually her escort along with a few other celebrities at the Victor Awards. And I just happened to have a picture of the very first time that I met Estelle. And that's Judith Light. We'll just throw her in an extra since she's already in the shot. She kind of, plugged herself in there for some ungodly reason. Anyway, I digress. But it was just a really fun time. All we did was go to shows after she did her presentations at the Victor Awards. We bonded. We went to dinner at like 2:30 in the morning. We just became kind of very friendly with each other at that point. Estelle tracked me down. I was actually a DJ and dance instructor at a club over in the Valley in Los Angeles called Oil Can Harry's. And I got a phone call there one night, and I didn't pick up the phone, of course, because I was in the DJ booth. And the guys came up to me and said, Estelle Getty is on the phone for you. And they were like, yeah, right, sure. Estelle Getty is calling you here at Oil Can Harry's. And I said, actually, she is calling me. And I went over to the phone. And for those, younger people, a telephone was something we used to have to call people on. We didn't have cell phones. And we had pagers, but we didn't have a cell phone at that point. So she had to call me at my work. So I got on the phone and she said, so when are you moving into my house? And I was just kind of like on the floor. I was like, wow, after 9 hours of interviews, she finally made a decision. I think it was about 3 weeks later, actually, to the day also that we had first started interviewing. And she chose me. And it was within the next couple of days, I was moving into her house in the hills. And at the end of the month, of course, is Golden Con, and I'm going to be bringing some things this year with me that might be one of the last times that people are going to see some of this stuff for a while, and some things that you will have seen last year if you came, but also some really fun stuff. One of my favorite things that you didn't get to see last year is, if you remember, Sonny Bono, Get Off My Lanai. Well, the Golden Girls were all presented with a Golden Girls Day certificate in Palm Springs signed by Sonny Bono. And so I think it's really one of it's one of the coolest parts of my big collection. I also noted that there were going to be a lot of people from Empty Nest. And since Estelle was one of the guest stars on Empty Nest, and those kids, I'm going to call them kids because they were kids back then, were all in Empty Nest. There was actually a big Holy Grail book that was put together for them with lots and lots of candid pictures that I'm going to bring with me as well, which has memories of, Dinah Manoff, with David Leisure, with Krista McNichol, with Estelle, so that everybody can page through that. I'm bringing back her Golden Palace robe that she used to wear backstage. And another thing that I'm bringing this year, which I didn't bring last year, which is kind of like my magic book. It's basically, this book contains a lot of nominations. It has private letters. It actually has even cards that the girls, the Golden Girls, have their own set of greeting cards. But there's lots of pictures. There's lots of just different things that you probably will have never seen from one of the stars of the Golden Girls before. But it should be really fun. Came from a few different sources. Some of the first things that I had started collecting is before Estelle had passed away. There's a story about the red Emmy dress from 1988 that she won her dress in. When I started working for her, she said, whatever you do, don't ever put on my red Emmy dress. Well, of course, she had to go to New York 2 weeks later. I ran right to the closet. I put the dress on. She never knew about it until many years later when I finally admitted to her that I had actually worn the red Emmy dress. I was a lot more petite back then. But I just thought it was hysterical because she looked at me and she just said, "You're a bitch." She didn't hold back. And then a few years later, as she was getting sicker and all that, she said, "There's something I want to give you." And she had me go to the closet, pull down the box that the dress was in. And I said, "You physically have to hand this to me and we have to log this in and all that." And she said, "Of course, absolutely." She's like, "But I want you to have it." She's like, "I know it's special to you." And so she gave me the red Emmy dress. At the night that she passed away, her sons asked me if there was anything that I wanted. And I said, well, basically, there's a few things out of the closet. So I ended up with another Emmy dress from 1992. And I ended up with the Sophia Petrillo wedding dress that she actually wore on the Golden Girls. And then I also had asked them if I could take the Helen Hazelwood, because that was for her portrayal of Mrs. Beckoff in Torch Song Trilogy on Broadway, which was like her Tony. And over all the other awards that she had, that was like the most important award that she ever had. And I wanted to keep that safe. So I ended up with that. And I also ended up with the fuzzy slippers that she wore on Broadway on the stage. So the night that she passed away, her sons really weren't quite sure what they were going to do with everything. So 3 days later, at the funeral, they approached me and they gave me a set of keys and they said, here's the key to Mom's storage. We want you to take whatever is down there and you just keep whatever's there, because the contents that are inside, we're probably going to end up auctioning them off. And so, of course, I took the keys and I ended up with award certificates. I ended up with 180 episodes of the Golden Girls that are, 90% of them were signed by her and some were signed by the cast. You'll see a lot of it at Golden Con. Actually, I've got my Bible of Golden Girls memories that came from that storage unit. So that was an inherited, big grouping of things that I got from her. And then basically her sons did do what they said. They auctioned off a lot of her things. And at the Bottoms auction that same year, I ended up buying thousands of dollars, including the Disney cell that you see behind, which was one of four, one for Sophia, one for Blanche, one for Dorothy, and one for Rose. It was a thank you from the Disney company for basically making them tons and tons of money. It was also congratulations, because she got that in 1988 when she won her Emmy Award. And then also in the auction, you'll see back here behind me, there's a proclamation from her 75th birthday when the city of Los Angeles proclaims it Estelle Getty Day, which was July 25th. The date when she was 75, that would be 25 years ago. So just do the math. And then I also had bought the little Golden Palace robe, and I didn't bring them out yet, but they'll be at Golden Con. I have the little slippers also, and when you turn it around to the front, it actually is embroidered with Sophia, and so are her slippers. One of my favorite memories with Estelle was a night that we were at the American Comedy Awards at the Shrine Auditorium in downtown LA. And we were just sitting and having a little conversation. She was off to my right. Of course, Betty White with her escort was sitting across from us. Rose Marie and her escort were sitting across from us as well. And there were two empty seats to the left. And, I'm turned to Estelle and we're chit-chatting, blah, 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 blah. We're just, we're probably talking about how terrible somebody looks or whatever. Because, she could gossip and, she was never really mean. But we were probably gossiping about something. Anyway, she always wanted to make me happy. And in this particular case, she really didn't have anything to do with it, but she said, turn slowly because you're going to be really thrilled at who you're going to have dinner with us tonight. And I'm like, really? And I'm like, I'm not terribly a starstruck person. And so she said, but turn slowly and be really, really cool. So as I turn and I look, who's sitting down next to me is Carol Burnett. I mean, you want to talk about like starstruck immediately. And of course, she grabbed my hand. Estelle grabbed my hand, and she was holding my hand because she knew it was just such a special moment. And so it was such a thrill. I mean, we sat there, we talked with Carol the entire night. She and Estelle had done charity events, and they kind of knew each other from the business because they're colleagues. So they had conversations. Well, because I think at one point Estelle asked me to change seats so she could actually hear Carol and all that, so I wouldn't monopolize the entire night. But it was a really special moment to share with Estelle. For her to see me starstruck and for her to like hold my hand while I was like dealing with that. And then there was a really special moment that Estelle and I had as well. And we were going to another award show one night, and I did a lot for Estelle as her assistant, and I did her hair and makeup, and I would actually design little outfits, and we'd have them made. And so we had put her together one night, we went over to the full length mirror as we were exiting her bedroom out of her bathroom after we had put her together, and I was standing behind her, and she looked in the mirror, and she just kind of like was staring at the mirror, and she looked at me, in the mirror, and looked up, and she said, "You know what? I've never felt pretty in my life, except you have made me feel pretty." I mean, you want to talk? I was welling up. I mean, I want to well up right now. And it's like it was one of the most special things that she could have ever said. It's the biggest compliment for her to tell me that I made her look pretty, which made her happy. And for me to be able to do that was amazing.
I have a lot of trouble getting clothes, and some clothes I have made up. Now that I'm on Golden Girls, they make a lot of stuff for me.
And can you keep it?
No. Some of the things I can't.
Oh, they should let you keep it. You're a success.
Picture it, California, 1988. This is such a big thrill, and I know that I can't take too much time, but I want to thank the immediate world.
When I think of how everybody should remember Estelle Getty, they should remember her as the diminutive little Sicilian gecko that she is. She was funny, she was witty, she was caring, she was loving. As a matter of fact, on a lot of her signatures that she signed for people, if you were lucky enough to get one while she was still alive, she would sign love and laughter. And so, her legacy should be about her humanitarian efforts also with HIV and AIDS. She was with me when I was diagnosed, and she never left my side. She's opened hospices. She was a pioneer. She was there before Elizabeth Taylor was even, talking about it. She was just an amazing, amazing human being. You should just check her out actually on some of the YouTube. I still see things on YouTube and I go, wait, she hosted the Tonight Show? She knew Joan Rivers? What? I think, if she were around today and she would want to be remembered as one of America's favorite Golden Girls. She was one of 4 of an ensemble cast that, is going to be living on forever, probably like Lucy, and be played somewhere in the world 24 hours a day.